Leave your cheese to sour. Join us. Come and waste an hour or two. We've got magic to do just for you. You. Good evening and welcome to Studio Tenn Talks. I am Patrick Cassidy. I am the artistic director for Studio Tenn. I can't tell you how excited I am about tonight's show. We have an incredible show for you tonight, but I want to get going. First, I want to tell you that we completed our second performing arts camp on Friday. It was extraordinary. We had beginners and intermediate and advanced. It was huge. It was our second in the last couple of months. We're going to do a third one coming in August. We'll tell you about that. Coming up on August 27th, we are going to have the virtual variety show sponsored by Studio Tenn. It is going to be a show. You can get tickets to it right now. I suggest you do. It's going to be a show of gymnastics and magicians and jugglers and singers and dancers and acrobats and everything. And that is going to be a great ticket for you guys. I want to get into the show tonight. So first, we're going to start with a clip. Ladies and gentlemen, the
Nashville is a strong city. We face difficult challenges every day.
We do it with our own special flair.
We survive storms. We can survive this too, together.
Nashville Ballet wants you to know that we are making every effort to keep our company strong and healthy in every way.
We're protecting our school and ensuring that we take care of our faculty.
We are creating innovative solutions to allow faculty and students to engage daily.
We are looking out for our artists. We are making tough choices to protect our community and to protect our future. And there's something more. You and I know the power of art, the power of ballet. It can lift us up. It can strengthen us. It can comfort us, even now.
Many of you have asked how you can help. Please give.
Every gift makes a difference.
Your gift makes a difference.
We can do this together.
$5, $10, whatever you can.
Together, we can keep Nashville Ballet healthy.
Safeguard our future.
And remain #NB strong.
This gentleman, this choreographer, has such a deep affinity for music. Paul Vasterling has created over 40 works, ranging from classical full-length story ballets to contemporary one-acts. Since becoming Nashville Ballet's artistic director in 1998, Nashville Ballet has commissioned 22 original scores from brand new ballets under Vasterling's direction. A gifted storyteller, he is known for creating vivid narratives, most recently the critically acclaimed Lucy Negro Redux. Vasterling has grown Nashville's ballet company from 12 to 25 professional dancers. He has led the company to its Kennedy Center debut. He is a Fulbright Scholar and was selected as one of the fellows in residence at the Center for Ballet and the Arts at NYU in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Vasterling. Hey.
Patrick, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Wonderful introduction.
Well, it's all true. I just lay out the facts and the facts speak for themselves. First of all, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this. It's so great to see you.
Absolutely. And thanks for playing our video. That was really nice.
It's awesome. I mean, I've been down to see prior. It's one of the few things I got to do with the arts here in Tennessee. I got to see some of your work down there, and it's incredible what you guys do. Incredible.
Well, thank you. We're so glad to be here in this really incredibly supportive community for us, and who are really taking care of us over the years and allowed us to do all the things that you just mentioned, taking care of us. And that's one great thing about Nashville is there is this sort of stick-to-itness, and this feeling of community that we really always try to grab onto.
How has the Nashville Ballet stayed to its mission during the pandemic?
Oh man, it has been challenging. We But I always try to go back to it, which is we create, perform, teach, promote dance as an essential and inspiring element of our community. And, it is art. It's about art. And we mentioned that in there. So our school, which I'm so glad you guys are doing workshops now because it's so important for us. But our school faculty pivoted amazingly and started doing online and virtual classes, which we still are doing. I mean, the city isn't quite up right.
My wife is teaching for you.
Yes, I know. In fact, I walked through the building, which is deserted except for her teaching.
Yes,
students and a camera.
At first, she goes down there every day, and at first she said, "Honey, it's a little strange. I'm in a huge dance rehearsal room by myself."
Yeah. So we're doing that. And at the end of the season, we had 2 performances left when everything shut down, and we had to cancel everything. But we quickly pivoted into doing digital work, and the company is such a great group of creative people. They all kind of stepped up, and many of them created these little films that we did that you can see on our YouTube channel, which has been, it's like a whole new me, you finding this, you can look at the dance in many different angles, which, we're finding it. So we're just trying to keep ourselves out there and inspire people. That's what we do, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. When I first came to Tennessee, Nashville is Music City, right?
Right.
And how do you think Music City has embraced the other art forms, say the symphony or the ballet or musical theater itself? How do you think that Music City has embraced all that?
What I love about being here and is this idea of collaboration, and people are so open to it, and the kind of collaboration where the egos step aside a little bit and something really great happens. This feeling. I mean, you experience in theater all the time, but it happens a lot here because people are just willing to. Maybe it's because we're off the beaten path slightly, and maybe we can mess up. Maybe it's not. There's not such a fear there, but people are really willing to collaborate. And so you mentioned in the intro that we've commissioned scores, and we've worked with all kinds of music, every genre, classical music, pop, country,
right,
folk, everything. And it's so wonderfully inspiring that we as the dance company have that fantastic thing to grab onto in this city, and make us just put us right into the thick of the community. And just again, my favorite thing is getting new music. People send me things all the time, and it's kind of my favorite part of the job is getting to hear all of these artists, and they're willing to send you stuff that they maybe wouldn't send to anybody else, because who knows, what might happen. So,
well, I'm so glad that you use the word collaborate, because gosh knows I want to collaborate with you. And I'm like, oh, please, Paul, please, can we collaborate with you?
Yeah, well, we will. I mean, because my entry into this whole show business, into ballet, was through musical theater when I was a kid. And so I've, had dreams of realizing performances or realizing musicals choreographically in some way. So I'm ready.
As I've said to you, we've talked about it. The ballet and Broadway, together, I see us at the Skimmerhorn. I see you, talking, directing. I see it. I just see it. It's a vision. Well, I see it all. We had a question that came up on the thing. What was that question? Oh, it was a comment from us. It was just 2 amazing companies, Nashville Ballet and Studio Tenn. Thank you, Susan, very much. Appreciate that. We get questions a lot from time to time. And so tell me, what was the piece that I got to see that had you guys did a presentation of it in your big rehearsal room thing? It was like a 20-minute thing. It was about gender. Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we did our last series in the winter. The last one that we did, we were able to do, besides the ballet ball, which you were at as well, was all about asking choreographers to explore gender and what gender means to them in the sort of broadest sense. And so we had 4 different choreographers who were able to really just do whatever they wanted, and it came out really beautifully, and so much heart and soul and truth was there. I know you saw it.
Oh my God, it was extraordinary. And as you said, all these different choreographers putting their work forward. And the differences and the diversity of all of them was incredible.
Music too. I mean, we worked with Louis York and we worked with Christina Spinay, two Nashville, really different Nashville creators, music creators. And, just really amazing stuff came out of it.
Give me one day in the life of Paul Vasterling as he's acting as musical director. Just give me one day.
As artistic director is, as you know, we are we have so many hats that we have to wear, but so the best days I have are when I have my meetings in the morning and, all the meetings I have to do with our board of directors who are amazing and our staff amazing. And then I get to just kind of go down my rabbit holes, and that's what I call it. And just sort of, and with the internet now and with music, I can literally go down a rabbit hole and not come out until the end of the day. And
really?
suddenly have an idea, those are my truly best days.
And during a season, I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head, during the season, how many actual pieces do you actually choreograph? How many?
Our season is, there's a lot of my work is in there. I mean, I have created for a long time, as you said, so we revive things. This year we'll be reviving a couple, but I try not to do at this point in my life. I try not to do any more than one new a year, which is, and now I'm doing these sort of bigger works. Lucy Negro Redux was a full length, so that's a lot bigger than doing a one actor. So usually every couple of years I have a new work that I'm workshopping next season, and I'm actually doing a lot of kind of just on my own work for it this summer, based on poems and again music from here. So we'll see how that goes. When somebody auditions for you guys, when is that time of year? How often do new company members go on? We start auditioning in January, and the auditions go into March. So there's just like the rest of show business, there's just so many wonderful artists and dancers who want to be in Nashville, which is an amazing compliment. And we have to see so many people, but I'm looking for specific kind of personalities, someone who has something to say, someone who has, is really musical, super intelligent, creative unto themselves.
I was thinking, I'd like to audition for you, Paul. I think that I'm not right, but I'd like to.
I think you might. You should try it.
Yeah, no, I don't. The shoulders, I can't lift anymore. That's done. I'm done.
Certainly, the creativity is there.
Oh, without a doubt. And as you know, I've been married to a dancer for 27 years. So
an amazing dancer. Yes.
Yeah, she is that, and had an incredible career. But it's interesting, as many dance classes as I've observed, and I really know line. Like I can talk about a dancer's lines, and people look at me like, I said, you don't understand. I know lines. I know feet. I know hooks. I know them.
Right. Oh my goodness. You know.
I know contemporary and jazz and
all the stuff.
And I'm very well aware. You are such a joy. We do a little thing on this show where we call it ask the host any question. So you get to ask me one question before we say adieu.
What is your favorite musical? What's the musical that you are dying to direct? That's what I want to know.
Oh, wow. That's a great one. Sunday in the Park with George.
Oh, I love that one too. That's a great one.
Stephen Sondheim and Victor Garber, who's our next guest. We're going to talk a lot about Stephen Sondheim. But yeah, Stephen Sondheim is by far, there's no comparison, my favorite composer. And that show changed my life because it's about the artist. It's a musical literally about the artist. And who can argue with that? Paul, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming on. Nashville Ballet, for all of you guys, is the most extraordinary thing in Nashville. When we come back, or until we come back, get involved, go to class, even if it's online. You might have my wife teaching you, but look it up. It is amazing what they do and what you do.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
You're awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Take care.
Well, I'm excited. Paul Vasterling and us, we get to collaborate. Oh, okay. Moving right along. So this next gentleman our next guest, is an incredible friend. He's an incredible man. I have to tell you about Victor Garber's bio, but we only have like 30 or 40 minutes in the show, but I'm going to run through it. Okay. Some of the notable television projects include Alias with Jennifer Gardner, Glee, The Flash, DC Legends of Tomorrow, Power, and The Orville. He also starred in TV movies of Cinderella and The Music Man. Victor, I forgot about that. On the big screen, you have seen him in Dark Waters, Sicario, Legally Blonde, Milk, First Wives Club, and Sleepless in Seattle. Okay, you ready for this now? On Broadway. The gentleman has done 18 Broadway shows. Here we go. The Shadow Box, Tartuffe, Death Trap, Sweeney Todd. They're playing our song, Little Me, Noises Off, You Never Can Tell, The Devil's Disciple, Lend Me a Tenor, two Shakespearean actors, Damn Yankees, Arcadia, Art, Present Laughter, The Normal Heart, She Loves Me, and Hello, Dolly. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to my friend. I am in such awe, Mr. Victor Garber.
Oh, I'm so tired after that. I'm exhausted.
But that was just a smidgen. We don't have enough time on the show to give it all.
To be fair, is that a start? No. To be fair, some of those were, one-time only readings and, workshop things. But
right.
Yeah, I've done too much.
Broadway, they all have playbills, Victor. They all have playbills.
I've been around, God, for so long.
You are extraordinary. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in Vancouver. I can't believe I'm working. I'm actually going to be filming I'm quarantining now for 2 weeks.
Right. I want you to specifically tell our audience exactly, because I just found out when we did our tech test today about that. Tell us exactly what you're doing and where you're doing it and how you're doing it. I
started doing this Canadian series called Family Law, which we actually started in March. Literally, my first day was March 7th. And by March 17th, I was on a plane going home because we were shut down. And so I didn't think I loved the show. I loved the people involved. And there was no way I could imagine getting back to work given what we were going through. And then suddenly they worked it out. The protocol is all in place and all the actors are tested. I'm quarantined for 2 weeks and I'll be, doing the show. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be working. All my friends are jealous because I was going to say there's not an actor anywhere else that's working. You are the actor. No one can believe it. No one can believe it. I can't believe it. But
who better but you? Because again, adding to that resume, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I have got to keep going.
Well, we're gonna show some stuff. I have so much to talk to you about. I mean, first of all, I mean, my love for you and in awe of you goes when we did Assassins, and we'll talk about that. As you know, I have such a special place in my heart for you, Victor. Not just because of your talent, but you.
We were in one of the seminal shows of our careers, both of our careers,
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I mean, to be involved in an original Sondheim musical, which I've had the honor of doing a couple of times, was unparalleled, really.
Oh, and we will get to it. Wait, I'm getting too excited. So I want to start with one of the most iconic film roles ever. It was the #1 box office film in history, James Cameron's Titanic, until James Cameron's Avatar, I think, overtook it. Right? Is that correct?
I guess. I don't really know anything about. I don't pay attention. I know it's popular.
Well, before we talk about that, we're going to show a little clip from Mr. Victor Garber in Titanic. Here we go.
Okay. Just looking in that woman's eyes, it gave me everything I had to do.
Okay.
There was no acting. It was just, oh my God, look.
And when you got Titanic, I remember obviously seeing the film and knowing you'd gotten. I don't think we ever saw. Did that did that movie, did you know in any way, anticipate what you thought it was going to do? Did it do this amazing thing for you? Did it said, okay, because you never stopped working in film after that, never.
Well, I've had a kind of my film career has been up and down, but definitely it was a life change once it came out. I mean, nobody knew at the time. James Cameron knew. He was confident, but we the actors we didn't know what was going to happen, and we were all, I think, taken by shock at the enormity of it. But yes, I mean, it definitely changed my life, and I got I got more. I mean, the theater sort of took a back seat for a while.
Mm-hmm. But never has. We have a question. This is my favorite part. Even though the man has less than 10 minutes of screen time, he steals the show. He's so gentle, sweet, and kind, just like I'm sure the real Andrews was. A true gentleman is what you are.
Well, I'd like that review printed on my wall.
Oh no, there's many more where that came from, my friend. Many more. I want to show, I have so much stuff to do, but I want to show another clip. I wanted to show another clip because I want to show another side of you, which is that you're ridiculously funny as well. So this is from Sleepless in Seattle. And let's see if our audience remembers this clip.
Well, if they get recognized.
Chicks movie. I would say so. What kind of a person would write to someone they heard on the radio?
Oh, I got hundreds of letters from women all over the country.
Desperate women.
Just because someone is looking for a nice guy, it doesn't make them desperate.
How about rapacious and love-starved?
No.
It is easier to be killed by a terrorist than to find a husband after the
That
age
is
of 40.
absolutely untrue.
Right, honey. Right.
Well, I'm not looking for a mail order bride. I just want somebody that I can have a decent conversation with over dinner, without it falling down into weepy tears over some movie that you just saw.
Very emotional.
Although I cried at the end of The Dirty Dozen.
Well, who didn't?
Because Jim Brown was throwing these hand grenades down these air shafts, and Richard Jekyll and Lee Marvin were sitting on top of this armored personnel carrier. They're dressed up like Nazis. And Trini Lopez. He busted his neck when they were parachuting down behind the Nazi lines. Stop it. Richard Jekyll, at the beginning, he had on this shiny helmet because he was EMP.
Please, no more. Oh, God, I love that movie.
Oh my God.
I haven't watched that movie since the first time I don't watch things. But, let me just tell you something. That was all Tom Hanks. I see. My career is a result of the people I've worked with. I swear to you, he did that. He started that whole riff, and I just played with him.
Yeah, but hello, you're every single moment. The slap with the napkin. See, love this scene. Still makes me laugh. It's Victor. Fun. It's hysterical. And Rita Wilson. It's so great.
That was, that's when I knew them personally, but I think that was one of Rita's first movies. She made one movie before that, I think. She's fantastic. And they are, by the way, I don't see them enough, but they are two of the sweetest people I've ever
during
heard.
This whole thing. Not such talent. Do you continue to work on your craft? Someone says, or is there a point when you know how well you excel in your craft and just act?
Let me think. No, there's no point. No. I'm working on the lines for this series that I'm doing. And yesterday I just thought, well, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I always doubt myself. I really depend on the other actors to kind of guide me, because for me, acting is really about reacting. I have an idea, and fortunately I've been able to get away with it, and I just respond to what people give me. But here's the thing: I still love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, now I want to talk about we have to talk about Mr. S, Mr. Sondheim. So, yes. So that remember that guy. So here's my question for you. As you said, you got to originate two. Is that right? Two of them.
Yes.
I know you've done a lot of them, but
Well. One didn't work at all.
Oh, that's right.
Sweeney Todd was the other big one. You know?
Yeah,
and that was kind of important one.
Yeah,
and then Assassins,
and then Wise Guys, right? Wise Guys, right?
Then became Roadshow,
and then Bounce.
Bounce,
yeah.
And then Roadshow, I think.
Right, that's right. Yeah, it's had a lot of different titles. Okay, let's start for just a moment with Sweeney Todd, because what was that experience like? You played Anthony.
I did. First of all, I was young. I couldn't believe I had actually achieved my dream, which was to be in a Stephen Sondheim musical. I came from Canada. I came to New York. I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I knew I was going to try to act, but Stephen Sondheim was the reason I came to New York, because I listened to his album, the soundtrack of, it's not soundtrack, the Broadway cast album of Anyone Can Whistle, and that was my siren. That was my. I thought I'd never heard anything like it, and then I got to work with him and Angela Lansbury. So it was kind of like who starred in that musical. So it was
and Len Carrier too, right?
Yes. Who was also a fellow Canadian and who I love, and I still see him. We still have dinner. Yeah, he's the greatest. And
do you remember the first time that you heard and sang Joanna?
The first time I heard Joanna was when I had a callback. I sang some Italian art song. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that some great Broadway singer was going to get the role, because how could they not? And I came in and I sang this silly Italian song, and they said, "Could you come back?" And to come back, I had to go to Steve Sondheim's house and record this song on my cassette tape recorder. And I took a bus, went there, couldn't believe I was knocking at the door. The butler let me in and said he's upstairs. I went upstairs to the second floor where his studio, the piano was open, and I put down my. We had small talk. I said something stupid. I'm sure. And he played bum 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 bum, and he sang Joanna on my recorder, because I don't read music, and I don't have that cassette because I don't save anything, but he recorded it and I had to learn it from him.
Oh my gosh.
And they did give me the sheet, the music, but I can't follow music all that well, so I learned it, and then I went back and sang it at my callback, and he maintains that he says glorious things about that callback, but I remember it as being one of the
You got the part. You clearly got the part. So, then that reminds me, because as you said, there is no other achievement in my career in the theater than Assassins. It was the greatest moment of my life in terms of getting to act on a stage with that ensemble of actors.
Unbelievable.
That ensemble of actors, Deb Monk and Jonathan Hadari and Terry Mann and Eddie Corbett and Annie Golden and Greg Gurman and Joy Franz. I mean, it was just like Bill Perry. I mean,
you have a really good memory, Patrick.
Well, I can read it too. But that experience, and then of course you, and getting to sing with Victor Garber. Now, to just the audience that doesn't know, and there'll be a few of them, Assassins is a musical about the presidential assassins. And Victor played John Wilkes Booth. And John Wilkes Booth, as we know, shot Abraham Lincoln.
Not a popular guy.
Yeah, not a popular guy. And I played the balladeer in the show, and I was essentially sort of like the narrator in the show in the form of like an American folk singer, like a Woody Guthrie or a Pete Seeger. And Victor and I did the show, and then we got to reprise our roles at Carnegie Hall for a tribute to Stephen Sondheim at Carnegie Hall. And we're going to show you a little piece from the Ballad of Booth, which is Victor Garber and myself, and I look like Michael Bolton. It's really awful, but watch.
Wow, I don't think I've seen that since we did it. Wow.
Be still, my heart.
say, who writes like that?
Nobody.
You know, that just that interchange that we do, you know, it's like Verdi. It's like opera. It's some great thing.
I remember, I've told this to so many people, my family. I remember the first time I heard you sing your part. And I remember because I had like you, when you learned Joanna, you know, nobody knew the Ballad of Booth. I didn't know why did you do it, Johnny? Nobody. So I had to learn it, and I don't read either. I had to learn it note for note, you know, the piano piece, and nobody had heard it. There was no soundtrack to pull from, nothing. So I just heard my part, and then we came together in the studio, and I'd worked on my part, and I came in, and I heard your part, and I sat there, Victor. And to this day, I'll never forget I couldn't believe it. I have to say, I don't think I've ever heard anything more beautiful. And Steve's written a lot of things, but your section of that song is one of the most beautiful melodic things I've ever heard. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Well, thank you. It's all because of him, and you know, it makes me, you know, I have this whole thing about singing, which I don't do anymore. And Joan later just sent me a text saying, my singing teacher, saying, you know, it's time we need to work again, because I feel like I've lost my voice essentially. But when I hear that, and I think it looked so easy. I mean, it was never easy, but it looked well. I thought, how did I do that? So that's inspiring, and maybe I'll vocalize after. Maybe I'll start.
Well, guess what, Victor? We're going to play a little game. Oh, yes. Yes, we're going to play a little game.
Good at game, Patrick.
It's called Remember the Lyric. Okay, it's a little game we play here on Studio Tenn Talks. Now, here's the game. Here's the game. Remember the lyric. I will sing a lyric from a show that you did, from a part that you played. And I will point to you after I sing the lyric and see if you can come back with me with the lyric response. Are you ready?
I'll try.
Okay, here we go.
This is going to be really bad.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay.
All right.
Let me pick a good key.
I'm not singing. Just say the lyric.
I feel you, Joanna.
I feel you.
I was half convinced I'd waken.
Half
satisfied
enough to dream you.
Yeah! Joanna. Oh, yes, Victor. Thank you for playing with me. That's made my life. You are amazing. You are amazing. You sang with me. And you have to keep studying with Joan. Joan will get your voice perfect.
We're not calling this singing together. We're calling this an embarrassment of farce.
Thank you for playing. And you get Joan later was my voice teacher too in New York. She's the best. Go to her. It's just a muscle, Victor. You get your muscle.
Yeah, I know all about it. We've been not Skyping. I don't do it. FaceTiming or Zooming the last few weeks, and she's tracking me down in Vancouver, saying, when are we going to get together? Because I said I can't have to stop now. So
see, Katie Earle, life made. Just you singing those two lines.
That's. I'm so sorry if that's it. That made your life.
You know, I've never asked you this because you have had that gorgeous speaking voice as well as singing voice. Did you ever do Shakespeare?
Yes, many times. Yeah, I actually played Macbeth in San Diego. Actually.
Oh, you did.
Globe Theater. That was a challenge. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, there's nobody that has that beautiful of a speaking voice that hasn't done Shakespeare.
You're blinded by my sight.
No,
I'm blinded by your
yes,
sight.
I am blinded by Victor Garber.
Seeing the real me. But thank you. I'm embarrassed.
I told you, and I'm going to say it. The most charming man on the planet is you. I say it to everybody. Everybody in New York, LA, and now Tennessee knows.
I could give you a list of people that would say No, but but no, thank you. I'm being, I'm embarrassed, but listen, my whole life is about communication, which is what we do, and and now going through what we're going through. I mean, I think, I realize I'm looking for what we get out of this, and if we don't learn how to really connect in a deeper way, and make this worth something, so that it's not just the loss which we've all felt, and hopefully that will abate. But we have to connect. We just and that's what we do as artists, and that's why art is essential, and that's why what you're doing is essential, and people have to support it. It's really important.
Every day, you couldn't be, and I told you earlier, this little talk show that we're doing that has been so wonderful. It's been a way of us, as Studio Tenn, reaching out and connecting to the community, and every single person, obviously yourself and everybody that I've called, have said, absolutely. And that support, Victor, as you know, in the theater is something that it's there. It's always there. People just, they want to support the theater. They want to support, the actors and the directors and the music directors and the choreographers and all of us. They come together as one, and they help each other. And hopefully, as you said, that after this, that will even be more so in terms of human beings.
Yeah. I mean, we have to have learned something from this.
Tell me about, quickly, just what was it like doing A-List with Jennifer? Did you have a good time?
Alias was life-changing for me, because I was cast in a role that I would never have thought I would be cast in, to play a double agent, a killer, manipulator, and father, and the great thing about Alias is that it was really a family story. They happened to be spies, and that was J.J. Abrams' brilliant conceit. Right. And also, I will unabashedly say I think it's one of the best pilots ever made for television.
Absolutely,
and I think it changed the whole tone of television. And I haven't seen a better one, frankly.
I agree.
But I loved it. I mean, it was really hard work. I didn't know what hard work meant until I did that show. And of course, Jennifer worked the hardest, and it was her first big thing, and she was astonishing. And she's one of my dearest, closest. She's like my daughter, but sometimes
the two of you were electrifying in that show. And as you said, our television procedural shows are hard. They're hard on actors, and when you're the leads and you're in every scene, it's hard. Yeah. Have you done, I know you've probably done it, but have you done much in like half-hour situation comedy in front of a live audience? Have you done much of that?
Yeah, I've done. In my early days, I did Frasier. I did Will and Grace. I did the Powers That Be, which was a Norman Lear show, half hour that I guested on those shows, and I did something. The Days and Nights of Molly Dodd with Blair Brown.
Sure. Yeah.
So, which was not an audience, but it was I think it was a half hour. And yes, so I've done comedy, and I love it. It's certainly a lot easier than doing an hour show.
Yeah, it's harder. That's the one that's really hard on the writers, but for the actors, and being from the theater, I always loved it because you got that little sort of play every Friday night in front of an audience, and you got to laugh all week. You got to laugh,
Yes.
Because
it depending on the show, unless the show was dying, and then you did
right. No, that's not fun. Right.
I did a couple of pilots that didn't go so well.
Yeah, I remember. I remember being at a table read of a couple of half-hour pilots, and after the table read, some of the actors weren't there. See ya,
That's common in
yeah, exactly. Tell me. Oh God, I could talk to you all day. I know what I want to ask you about. So you have done in recent years a lot of sci-fi stuff, haven't you? Starting with The Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and the Orville. Tell me about the Orville. That's Seth MacFarlane, right?
Well, Yes, I forget that all these are of a genre. You know, the Orville is Seth MacFarlane's brainchild, and it's kind of he's a genius, and I love him, and was so honored to be asked to be on it. And I play Admiral Halsey, and I sort of tell them what to do and where to go and where to fly, and then the last episode I did just during the whole COVID breakout was in March, just before I started this one in Vancouver. I was in LA doing the Orville, and I was in an episode where I was like, I was just in an office and I'm talking to a screen, and that would be great. One episode I'd come in for an hour, shoot it, and I'd go home. But this was I was on the set for like 8 days. I said, this is much too hard for me. And all these aliens, but fortunately I didn't have to wear crazy makeup, because that's I don't do that.
You don't do.
I don't want to look like whatever they look like.
You won't be playing Shrek. That isn't happening for you.
No, not interested. Not interested. Nor would anybody want me to. But anyway, Orville is a brilliant. He's such a funny writer, and such a. It's very political. It's really heartwarming. It's a lot about relationships and a lot about diversity and being together. It's a really smart show.
Mm. Well, your career is astounding. We have another little game that we play as we're wrapping up. We call this game, we call it You Become the Host. I played this with Paul Vasterling. So, meaning you get to ask the host, here we go, one question and just one.
Yeah. I thought about this. I've tempered it. So it's gonna be fine. Don't panic.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Aside from Melissa, your beautiful wife, and me, your favorite actor, clearly on earth, who was your most exciting Broadway or theater person that you worked with?
Does it have to be an actor, or could it be anybody? Because the obvious for me is Steve, is Sondheim.
No, it can't be Steve.
I can't do that. Okay.
No, I mean actor. I mean someone you worked with night after night that you had to really create a world with.
You know, I know it's the safe answer, but I have to say my mother in 42nd Street. When she and I were on Broadway, I can't use her. I can't use a relative.
No. I find that very sweet and moving. And
it was. I mean, it was a special thing that we got to do. We got to be the first mother-son to ever star in a Broadway musical. That was kind of our little claim to fame there. And I remember the first night I walked out in the 3-piece pinstripe suit. My hair was flipped like very 30s, and I took my mother's breath away because she said, "Oh my God, you look so much like your father." And
of course.
I then, of course, went into, I know. And then it was, and so then I got to do that with her for 6 months, and it was exciting every night, to this day.
That's beautiful, and that's heartwarming, and I love that. I love that so much.
And you are beautiful and heartwarming, and I love you so much, and I can't thank you enough. I love you. I'm going to start to call you now obsessively. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to, because it's just so good to see you and be with you.
It's great to see you. And you know, in 6 months or sooner, I'll come back and talk about what I haven't accomplished. That would be good.
You've accomplished everything.
Yeah.
You're the greatest. Thank you. I'm going to call you. We put me in touch with our mutual friend Deborah Monk, and we can get her to say hello.
I will. She must do this, and she would be wonderful, and you would love. She would love to see you. Sure.
I'd love to see.
This is a great way to see.
You know, she does New Amsterdam with Sean, and so I get photographs sent to me, like, you know, on Snapchat or whatever they say. I love you, Victor. Stay healthy. Stay quarantined. Yeah. And I'll let everybody know. It says Jamie Harkins saying, "Bye, Victor. We love you." Everybody does.
So much, Jamie, thank you, everybody, and congratulations to what you're doing. I support it with everything in me. So I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel like your father. Okay.
No, you're not. I love you. Have a great one. I'll speak to you soon.
How do I leave? Why don't
You know, I'm talking to my development director or producer, and actually Victor has more technology skills than I do, and he knows it. That's our show for tonight. Listen, we here at Studio Tenn, as you know, we survive on ticket sales. We survive on donations. Right now, we can't do ticket sales. If you're just donations, please donate. You know, this talk show is keeping us, you know, in front of you, in front of our community. You can click on the bottom.